As we've been reporting today, an urgent new warning for anyone who vapes.
Officials with the Centers for Disease Control say cases of people with lung injuries are going up dramatically, along with the death toll. And they're saying anyone who vapes should stop. NBC News medical correspondent Dr. John Torres is here with what you need to know. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm looking at some of these pictures behind us of the devices. I know several people who have said it's safer. I don't know why they say it's safer, but they're not getting, the things from cigarettes or what have you. What is the deal?
And one of the things that's been touted over the last couple of years, even by some experts, is it's safer than cigarettes,
right,
but it's not as safe. I'm not sure we can say that anymore, the not as safe part, because yesterday the CDC had a big teleconference. I was on the phone call with them, the FDA, a lot of experts, a lot of us as well, and what they said is essentially these numbers of cases have just shot up dramatically across the country. 450 cases in 33 states. If you look at the map, the states are all across the country. At first they thought there was a geographical center, maybe there were some bad devices there or something.
Right.
But again, it's all across the country, and they can't pinpoint exactly what's going on. And what they're saying is, it's not a specific device, it's not a specific liquid, it's not a specific ingredient. There's a lot of things possibly causing this, and they simply don't know. So their advice is, don't vape.
Wow.
Basic advice.
So for clarity, in terms of a commonality here, they haven't been able to pinpoint exactly what connects all these cases.
They haven't been able to pinpoint all the cases. In a lot of the cases, and in some states, in some of their cases, they've been able to pinpoint vitamin E as one of the culprits behind this. And vitamin E is used as an oil in these vaping cartridges if they have THC or CBD or even nicotine, because they need that oil in order to vaporize. What happens is once it vaporizes, it turns into a smoke, much like your skillet. When you burn the oil in your skillet, it turns into a smoke. Once it gets into the lungs, it cools down, turns back into oil, coats the lung, and that causes the immune response, which then causes the illness.
So you've got almost fat deposits on your lung?
Exactly. So it starts injuring the lung, that causes the immune response, and then it starts causing the illness behind that.
Walk us through, if you can, then the symptoms that folks should be looking out for broadly right now. The broad message is stop vaping. A lot of people are going to ignore this advice right now. So what should they be keeping an eye on, and their loved ones be looking for?
And what the CDC said yesterday on TV, I thought was great, or on the teleconference was great. Don't buy any vaping devices that are third party, that are off the street, that are from anything other than legitimate buyers, and consider not vaping at all. That's their big message behind everything. The symptoms, if you think about it, are basically, I just got something bad into my lungs. I got coughing, shortness of breath, chest pain, but the kind of strange symptoms that are unique to this are the nausea, the vomiting, the abdominal pain. They're sending out the message. It's important. Get to the doctor quickly if you notice any of this. And of course, if you can stop vaping, please stop vaping, because that's one of the things that's causing a lot of these problems. They simply don't know. They can't pinpoint the one thing that's causing this. And the FDA is wrestling with regulatory issues as to how much they can regulate this. And so they're working through all that. If you remember cigarettes, it took us decades.
Well, that's what Peter and I were talking about this morning. It seems like it happened so quickly, such a short amount of time.
Right, and with decades.
The popularity just blew up in the last couple of years.
It did. It blew up since, I think, 2007 is when they first came out. 2009 is when the FDA first started wrestling with how much can we regulate it, because it's not a medical device, it's not a medicine, it's not a food. FDA doesn't have purview, CDC doesn't have, so it's really hard to figure out who can regulate this. The FDA is eventually going to regulate it, I think. They're just wrestling with how they can legally do that.
Oil deposits on the lungs, it just doesn't sound good. Dr. John Torres, thank you for coming in this morning.
And the number of kids who are doing it these days as well, Dr. John. Nice to see you. Just ahead.